Now we will study about the non-steroidal oral contraceptive pills for women. Non-steroidal oral contraceptive pills for women. As the steroidal contraceptive pills have some side effects like abnormalities in menstruation, degeneration of vitamin D, nausea, obesity, impotency, and even leads to the infertility if used for a longer period, for a prolonged time. So the research was ongoing for the development of the non-steroidal contraceptive pills which do not have such side effects. So the non-steroidal contraceptive pills do not contain any steroid means they do not have either progesterone or estrogen. Progesterone and estrogen both are absent into the non-steroidal pill. So the first of all in 1967 the Central Drug Research Institute CDRI in Lucknow, India has made world's first non-steroidal oral contraceptive pill. They have developed the world's first non-steroidal oral contraceptive pill for the woman. That is called as the Saint-Croman. The Saint-Croman do not have either progesterone or estrogen. So the Saint-Croman this is in 1991. It is marketed by the Hindustan Latex Limited. It is marketed as Saheli. It is marketed as Saheli by the Hindustan Latex Limited in 1991. So after that, the Torrent Pharmaceutical has marketed as the Centron. So this Saint-Croman, it is marketed worldwide. It is renamed by the WHO, World Health Organization, as Ormelozepine. It is named as Ormelozepine. Now comes to the impact of this Saint-Croman or the Ormelozepine. Now the impact. Now comes to impact. The Saint-Croman do not alters the hypothalamus to pituitary and to the ovary hormonal rhythm. So it do not affect either the ovulation or the fertilization. So it do not alter, not affect hypothalamus to pituitary to ovarian hormonal rhythm, or it is termed as the axial hormonal rhythm. ovarian axial from hypothalamus pituitary to the ovarian axial hormonal rhythm. It do not affect. So the follicle development, that is the oogenesis, the ovulation and the fertilization is also not inhibited. The oogenesis, then fertilization, then ovulation, and gamete transport from the fallopian tube to the uterus, that is a gamete transport, and the entry of the sperm into the towards the ova, it is also not inhibited. So it is the gamete transport is not inhibited. So ultimately the fertilization is not inhibited. Fertilization, they are not inhibited. That is also not inhibited. So it only affects the implantation of the blastocyst into the uterus. So it do not allow the implantation. Here it is, the implantation is inhibited. Attachment of the blastocyst to the wall of the uterus. So implantation it is not allowed, prohibited. So it affects the implantation. Now comes to the dose, how much this pill is to be given. Now it is the next is the dosage. For the first 3 months, for the first 3 months, for the first 3 months means from 1 to 3 month, 1 to 3 month, it is given 2 tablet per week. So it is 2 pills, 2 tablet per week, means bi-weekly. Then after the 3 months, after that it is 1 tablet per week. So it is, these 2 tablets are given on the fixed day of a week. Then after the 3 months, for the continuation, the 1 tablet is sufficient per week. So it is termed as ultimately, for a longer time use, it is termed as weekly medicine, weekly oral pill. So this Saint Roman or the Saheli, it is a weekly oral pill. Then comes to the mechanism of action. How does this Saint Roman act to prevent the implantation? Mechanism of action. The Saint Roman has both weak estrogenic and potent anti-estrogenic activity impact anti-estrogenic effect or the impact. So this weak estrogenic effect leads to, so here it is the means somewhere the estrogen will work and somewhere it will not work, so it alters the estrogenic activity. Then this weak estrogenic effect leads to the, it has the cardioprotective function, as it do not allow the aggregation of the platelet, and it do not affect the HDL triglycerides and the cholesterol uh, deposition. So it act as the cardioprotective function. It gives the cardioprotective action. It gives the cardioprotective. Now it also has another function, means it lowers down the activity of the osteoclast cell, that are the bone dissociating cells, and it increase the lifespan of the osteoblast cell, due to which it strengthen the bones. So it has the anti-osteoporotic activity. It has anti-osteoporotic activity, anti-osteoporosis. Then it is the potent anti-estrogenic. So it affects the estrogen activity, affect estrogen activity at uterus and breast. So it lowers down their activity at the uterus and the breast. So this Saint chroman is act as a SERM. So it is the selective estrogen receptor modulator. It acts as the selective estrogen receptor modulator. So at some places it stimulates, or at some places it inhibits the estrogen activity. So ultimately it blocks it blocks the estrogen receptors present in the uterus, or lowers down the production of estrogen that going to act into the uterus, or inhibit or decreases estrogen action in uterus, and simultaneously it increases the transport of the fertilized egg, that is the blastocyst, from the fallopian tube to the uterus. So the uterus and the blastocyst cannot, means the uterus is cannot recognize the blastocyst to be in the stage for the implantation. So there is the rhythm is altered. So ultimately it also increase the speed of transport of fertilized egg or blastocyst from fallopian fallopian tube to uterus. It is the fertilized egg or the blastocyst, not the gamete. So then it develops the asynchrony. It leads to the develops asynchrony between blastocyst and endometrium of the uterus or the uterus. Endometrium of uterus. So the endometrium lining of the uterus cannot develop well. So the implantation cannot take place. Less development or the non-development of uterine endometrium, so it leads to the inhibition of the implantation. So implantation is inhibited. So ultimately the blastocyst cannot attach to the wall of the uterus, so it inhibits the implantation. So do not offer any side effect, unlike to the steroidal oral pill. Then besides this prohibition of the implantation or the acting as a contraceptive pill, it has also some beneficial effect. It is used as a medicine in certain disorders and even cancer. So this is act as a also as a positive effect. It decreases the loss of blood during menstruation. So it lightens the period, lighter the periods. So it leads to the less loss of blood, so it lightens the period, so the anemic chances are decreases. So anemic chances are decreases ultimately. Anemic chances decreases. Then in certain cancer it is also used as a medicine. So in cancer, some cancer therapy, so it is also used as a medicine. So here now it is used as medicine in certain cancer therapy, like breast cancer or the head neck cancer or the uterus cancer therapy. It is it prevents the loss of blood into the also. It also cures the dysfunctional uterine bleeding, that is the abnormal uterine bleeding. It also cures that. So it cures dysfunctional uterine bleeding, or the abnormal uterine bleeding. Dysfunctional uterine bleeding it is termed as TUP. Then when the bleeding is severe, then it is termed as the severity of this bleeding. It is termed as, it is for the prolonged time and it is severe. It is termed as a menorrhagia. When the bleeding is severe and for a prolonged time, it is termed as menorrhagia. Prolonged and continuous severe bleeding, that is the menorrhagia. So it also cures the menorrhagia, this scent chroman. So they besides this contraception action, they it is also act as the means medicine in such cases. So this Hindustan Latex Limited, besides the means Saheli as a given, so as a medicine they have given the Saint Croman as a marketed name. They have marketed it as by the Hindustan Latex Limited. It is another name given. It is the Novax DS, Novax DS and Novax. It is the name of the medicine. That is the Saint Croman, that is marketed for the curing the menorrhagia, dub, and for the cancer therapy. And the Torrent company has given the name, that is, they have also given the name for the treatment of such disorders as Sevista. They have given the name Sevista. So the point of consideration in this non-steroidal oral contraceptive pill are, so the development, first of all, it is the Central Drug Research Institute by the means this non-steroidal contraceptive pill. That is a, first of all, it is the world's first non-steroidal oral contraceptive pill. Then this question can be asked as, so the option will be there into the question. So what is the contribution of the respective institute as what they have discovered or the developed? So the option will be Hindustan Latex Limited, Central Drug Research Institute, and the DIPAS. These we have studied in the previous lecture. DIPAS, Hindustan Latex Limited, and Central Drug Research Institute. So this Central Drug Research Institute has developed the first non-steroidal oral contraceptive pill, that is the Saint Croman, that is commonly called as the Saheli. Then Hindustan Latex Limited has developed the India's first condom, that is the Rakshak. Then has developed the Rakshak. It has developed the Saint Croman, that is properly called as the Saheli, and it has developed the NIM 76, that is the cream. That is the NIM 76, that is the cream spermicidal, that is the chemical spermicidal and a contraceptive. So it has developed the NIM 76. So from this matchup question can be asked from this section. And here it is the Saheli, it is the first oral contraceptive, it is the point, and it is the weekly oral contraceptive. It is important for the NEET. And what is the action? It do not alters any progesterone and the estrogen action, so it is also important. So it do not inhibit any oogenesis, ovulation, gamete transport, or the fertilization. And lastly, it inhibit only the implantation without any side effect. It inhibit the implantation. So now this pill can be given, so this Saheli or the Centron, this weekly pill can be given before or after the coitus, before or after the sex. So they can be given as before, taken as before or after coitus. So this is all about the non-steroidal contraceptive pill. Now we will study the next section of the hormonal contraceptive pill into the male for the males.